Welcome to Great Talk and Entertainment. I am your host, KJ, and this is the podcast where I review movies and TV shows from all your favorite superheroes, including DC Comics, Marvel Comics, and much more. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Great Talk and Entertainment official channel. Now let's go, baby! Welcome back to the podcast, everyone. I am KJ, the host of Great Talk and Entertainment official channel, and this is going to be my spoiler review for episode 5 of the new DC Comics animation series directed by James Gunn, only on Max, Creatures Commando. This is a spoiler review, so if you have not seen this, pause this, give me a thumbs up, go watch those shows, and each and every episode, including episode 5, come back and let me know what you think about this whole series and this particular episode in the comments below. So again, this is a spoiler review. Y'all been warned? Now, let's get into it. This episode starts off with Rick Flags and Frankenstein spying on a professor who claimed that Circe's prophecy is real, and they see her at this college and they're trying to prove Amanda Waller wrong, while learning of the past of the bride and more on Frankenstein, which I was really shocked with the other characters of the commandos with the other members. I'm shocked that they went this way, but hey, I'm okay with that because let me tell you why I like this backstory that they gave a little bit more on Frankenstein's. But I thought that it was very unique. It helped you kind of understand who he is as a person, or as a monster, I should say. And you kind of get the gist of him. Like, he's kind of an idiot. He's kind of gullible, but he's dangerous and powerful. And he can hurt people, of course. He's been around for a long, long time. And it seems like he's really traveled. And he's been to different places. And he really loves the bride. Very obsessive with that, but it gives you the idea like where his mindset is with all this. And the one thing that we learn in this episode, he kind of lacks the correct emotions and feelings. Like, he doesn't know how to show mercy, but you kind of think he does, the way they showed his past a little bit more leading after the bride, with the relationship between that. So again, they go back, they show a more current time where they're at the professor's house and looking for some evidence just to prove everybody wrong. But we also learn that the woman who was watching the manor was the old woman who rescued Frankenstein. And again, like I said, that was really unique, and it was really sad that this old woman who's blind actually legit loved him, like fell in love with him. And of course they had that comedy thing where, you know, he doesn't see it, he's just not into her, he's into the bride. And it was like a real relationship, even though she's done everything for him and healed him up. But at the end, he killed her and took her dog. Like, her dog just left with Frankenstein. Like, that was nuts. But it was very interesting thing to see. And then the next scene, they kind of go back where Rick and Frankenstein discover that the real professor is actually dead. And a lot of this story, too, again, I want to put out, had a lot of comedy with it. And I really thought Frankenstein was really funny. And honestly, he had me laughing at a couple of times, especially with the past, with the flashbacks of him with that old woman who was blind. That was pretty funny and sad at the same time. But I also thought it was funny how when Rick was trying to call Lana and he, snitched on his whole crew to let her know that, hey, they're trying to, assassinate her. He was so worried about, did you tell her about me? You didn't tell her about me. He's just being like a kid. He's like a little kid too. So I thought that was pretty funny with those scenes. And we also discover this is Clayface. And what's really interesting is, I don't know if Frankenstein killed Clayface when the scene where Frankenstein punched the plug outlet and took the wires and electrocuted him. I can't imagine him that killing him. But again, it's been famously known throughout like Batman cartoons that that's one way Batman has defeated Clayface is just electrocuting him in some type of capacity. But I hope that Clayface is not dead and this is like his introduction to the new DCU, which I'm hoping they just add the Batman 2 to that, but who knows on that. But I thought it was really cool that they got Clayface in it. And yes, he was in the Harley Quinn animated series on Max 2 as well. And I like Clayface in that too, but I really like Clayface in this show. But I wish they gave him more time to talk. I know he's played by the same voice actor from the Harley Quinn animated series show on Max. And I forgot his name, so I apologize, but you know who he is. But I just wish since he was playing, I wish they gave him more time to talk, gave him some dialogue. And, I thought he could do some funny stuff. I mean, he was pretty funny in the Harley Quinn show on Max. But for whatever reason, they kind of like, I guess, killed him off. But I don't think he's dead. I can't believe he's dead yet. I just hope not. I hope not. I hope whatever Batman movie, we can get a Clayface in the live action part of the DCU. So that's what I'm trying to say. And then we also was really interesting that Clayface broke Rick Flag's back like Bane broke Batman's back. But the only difference is it seems that Rick is dead thanks to Clayface. And also in this episode, too, that happened is since Lana knew her soldiers who were driving the rest of the crew around with the commandos, they tried to jump them, but they failed, and there was a lot of blood and death. And I thought that was really cool. They showed both fight scenes simultaneously at the same time in one scene between Rick Frankenstein versus Clayface, the commandos versus Lana's soldiers. I thought that was really cool. And there's a lot of bloody, but we also see that the rest of the crew are kind of like trapped. Like every police force is out there looking for them, and they're hiding, and they're like in more danger because Rick is in love with Lana. He caught feelings, and we still don't know who's telling the truth or not. But that's how this episode ended, with them just being in danger, and Rick. Seems like Rick is dead, and it's up to Frankenstein. He told Rick told Frankenstein to tell the bride the truth. Now, it seems like in a funny way, he's probably not going to tell him the truth that she needed to hear. Like, he's not going to lie, but I think he's more concerned about winning the bride over and having her as obviously his wife, like she kind of is supposed to be throughout, the history of Frankenstein's story. So there's that. So let's get into some topics. Let's start with Frankenstein since we're talking about him. What I like about Frankenstein in this is he's very messed up and he's confused between love and reality and just in reality in general. But I also kind of feel bad for him because he doesn't understand what he's doing. And it looks like he missed a lot of opportunities just to live a regular life in different years and eras since as long as he's been alive, basically. And I also just think that the question is, does he become a hero like and join the commandos, or is he like the guy or the monster that gets defeated by the end of this season, like to death? I can see Amanda Waller recruiting him. But I wonder if the show itself would want to do more with this character, especially in a live action. I think it would be cool, but who knows where they're going with this, because there's really no clear path about that particular character versus the bride, where you can kind of see that I think James Gunn has some really great ideas that he wants to continue to show us, and whether on shows or in movies. So I definitely see the bride making it through season 1 of this show and being in live action movies in the near future. I can see that. I think he has some ideas, but I just don't know what he would do with Frankenstein, and it doesn't seem like they have a clear path, and I don't think they're going to use him. But in a way, they kind of did tease the idea of like, is Frankenstein going to do the right way or the wrong way, or the right decision or the wrong decision, and this will kind of see if he has a softer side, because when he killed the old lady, he which I just realized that it wasn't the old lady and the who was watching the manor. This was a blind woman. So I apologize. I said that earlier. But he killed the old blind lady, and then he kept the dog. So to me, as a pet owner, I think he has a soft side. I think he does care for people or just for animals in general, but it seems like he does have a soft side. So I'm not 100% sure of like what that would look like, but it's very interesting to see that. Because again, like that old lady who I thought was the same old lady from the first episode, which I'm totally wrong and I apologize. But she's blind, but she didn't think he was ugly, I guess. And they seemed like they were having a good life. Frankenstein seemed somewhat happy, but his obsession with the bride like ruined it. And I think that we might see him get a life lesson about that, or he's just gonna get destroyed. I don't know, but with this, there was some action packed with this, but I think why I'm glad they kind of give more like TV time to Frankenstein on this show, because I think it's kind of important, and they're setting something up, of course. But I do hope we get to see more backstories with the other creatures commando, I should say. So I'm hoping for that, but I did like his story, the continuation of his story. And I guess I would say, from my perspective, I'm actually just rooting for him to do the right thing, but who knows if he will. Let's talk about the bride. Now, everything I said about him, I feel like, again, I think they have big plans for this character, but I wonder, like, where does she go after this is the $1 million question. And the one thing I think that's going to happen, this is just me predicting at this point, is I think she's now, if Rick's dead, I think that she's going to be the leader of this crew, of this version of Suicide Squad. And I think she's going to be recruiting more members soon. I think Amanda Waller is actually going to trust the bride out of everybody else she has trusted in her whole life. If you just base off the live action DCU shows like Peacemaker and stuff, or any of the Suicide Squads, I think the bride and Amanda Waller are going to work well together. And I think there's a story that they can tell with that, and I think that'd be really cool. I would like to see that. So that's my kind of prediction with her, where they would take her with this. And, again, it sucks that Rick Flags might be dead again, but he did die in the last Suicide Squad movie with Peacemaker, played by John Cena. And he died in this one, so it seems like he was just meant to be dead. This character was meant to be dead. So I don't know why they killed him twice in a way, technically, but that was very strange on that part. Now, what I think about him being easy that whipped by women, I think that's always been his weak point, especially since the first two. Like the first one, it was with the woman who became a witch, and then he kind of had he seems like he had a thing for Harley Quinn. He really cared for her, and now he cared for Lana, and all three of them are crazy, so he likes crazy women. But That's always been his death. It seems like is women and love. I don't know. He's the DCU Romeo, I guess, but that seems like his thing with that. And I guess that's it with Rick. But what did I like about this show? I like the story of it, and again, I like the more extra detail about Frankenstein. At first, like the first 10 minutes, I was like, "Oh man, they're really gonna just go with Frankenstein." Like, I want to know more about the other characters, but I do. I'm glad they did do this, and I'm glad they went this particular route. So I'm really happy with that. And I also just like how this episode really, and a lot of the episodes, honestly, give you a reason to where you can care about individual characters from Frankenstein, the Weasel, the Bride, Rick Flag, I guess. But I like that. I really like that element point of this whole story. And I like, honestly, how the pace is going with the action. Like, they give you enough action and blood and guts and deaths to satisfy it, but I really like the way the dialogue and the dramatic storytelling is being played out in this. Like, it's really, I think they got it really balanced out so far. And I mean, James Gunn and all the other people who are involved in this particular project, wow, did a really great job, and I'm not disappointed at all yet. Now, there's few more episodes coming up, but then we're getting close to the end, I would assume. But it's so far so good. They're on episode 5, and usually that could be the filler up episode, I guess, but that doesn't feel like that. So I do like that. And what I didn't like, I think what I didn't like is why have Rick die? Twice in a way. Like, he died in the last Suicide Squad movie by Peacemaker. Now he dies by Clayface. Like, that's crazy. But that's my only complaint, because it's like, then why have him in it? You should have just had somebody else. But that's just me. But it's not something I'm gonna dwell on, or say, well, that ruined the whole season. Nothing like that. I just think that was just a wasteful character and time. But I did like seeing Rick in the episodes where he did live. So that's all my own complaint about that. I do like when, like, certain songs, the song playlist that James Gunn and whoever else helped pick. A lot of these episodes have some really good songs playing during the battles or whatever. So I thought that was pretty cool. I like that one. But if I had to give this a 1 out of 10, I'm going to give this a 7. Really great episode. I feel like they should have focused on other characters than, like, Rick, but I think, again, that's my only complaint, and I'm sorry I'm sounding like a broken record, but that's my only complaint on him. But I'll give it an 8. Still good. The flow went well. I love the pace of this story, and man, I'm enjoying these characters so much. Like, I like how, this kind of helps people be more fan favorite of these characters besides Superman and Batman and Wonder Woman and Aquaman and Flash. So it's kind of refreshing in a way. So I really like that aspect too. So that's my review, y'all. Thank you so much for listening. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Great Talking Entertainment Official Channel. Subscribe, hit that notification button so you can always be updated with all my latest content. Thank you guys, and peace